All right, welcome back to another episode of Amateur Hour. I'm your host, James. I'm joined here by...
Hello.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I'm joined by Josh, my co-host. You sick bastard. And we are reviewing the Parallax View. Before we start, I want to read the definition of parallax because I think it's very cool. It's very fitting for the movie because that's how titles work. Parallax, the effect whereby the position or direction of an object appears to differ when viewed from different positions. And that's so fitting for this movie. Oh my goodness. But Parallax View, Josh, what are you rating this?
First off, I'd like to mention it is November. I'm watching all kinds of noir movies. And the Parallax View is one of my favorite neo-noirs, which came after the initial period for noir films, but it definitely follows in the spirit and tradition of those films.
And what is that spirit and tradition?
Those who know, man.
Okay, you got it. What makes a noir film?
This is a very complicated question. There is no one definite answer, but for this one, a lot of what I like is kind of the moral dilemmas and dark themes. Some of the themes of like crime and such. Noir is a very broad category of film. It's hard to give one easy definition, but this is a neo-noir. It follows the tradition.
So what would you rate it?
I believe second film in Alan J Pakula's Paranoia trilogy. All three films I think are very good. This is my favorite of the three, and I'd personally rate it a 5.
5 out of 5. Pretty good.
Out of 5.
I would rate it...
Wait, is that the only good score I've given on this podcast?
I think it is. This is the first good score you've ever given, besides The Thing, which you can watch on our Patreon. Our Patreon is currently free, but as we post more, I will put it to the minimum cost, which I think is $3. And we will post every... we're going to post all the videos that we don't think are good enough to put out for free. So they're shitty videos, but there'll be a lot of them. So if you want more content and you think $3 is worth it, go for it. But again, it's free for right now. Do not give us $3. Do not. I wouldn't give $3 for this bullshit. But if you think it's worth it. Anyway.
Way to plug our content. Good job. Everyone's going to be listening to this.
Everybody. Anyway, so... yeah, I think I'd rate it a 10, probably. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. Maybe
really?
A 0.8. Like a 9.8 or a 5.8. You know,
We don't do that. We round here.
All right, then I would do I'd say 9 stars. 9 out of 10. But
why are you rounding down?
Oh. Because I can't have a 9.8. I didn't rate it on Letterboxd yet.
9.8 would round to a 10.
I would rate it as a 10 on Letterboxd, but here I'm rating as actually never mind. I'd rate it as a 9. Jesus, I'd rate it as a 10. I think there are a couple things missing. That God, once it give me my schizoid pills. Anyway,
I'm just rage baiting.
You sick bastard.
You're losing it.
And yeah, Parallax View. So let's start off. Let me give my thoughts here. I'm trying to have this be a more organized episode than the rants we normally do. I think that here's a list of the things that the Parallax View does well. It deals with corruption a little bit, and conspiracy, political conspiracy, and assassination. And it does not pull its punches, man. Oh, dude, there is no preparation. There is no warning signs. I mean, obviously there's warning signs if you're looking, but it doesn't try to coddle you with death, and it's not afraid to have people die. And it's just like, boom, oh my God, he just got assassinated. So I think it doesn't pull its punches, and it treats the topic and concept of assassination, political assassination, and conspiracy with respect. And I really admire it for that. It also has a wonderful score. It's very fear-inducing. Let's see, what else do I like? You can, as you're watching the movie, things are shown to you, right? One of the first early movies, they would show, I can't remember exactly, but they would show two clips, and they would show them one after the other, right? So if you show somebody with wide eyes, right? But you just show that person, you don't know what's going on, right? And this was a very early concept in film. This is like one of the first things. Say again?
Montage.
Yeah, thank you. Montage. I couldn't remember the word, but so you show a clip of a guy with wide eyes. He's like, wide eyes and an open mouth. You don't know what he's looking at, right? But the next clip, or the clip you show before it or after it, affects what we think of the previous clip, right? So you show a guy with wide eyes, and then you show a naked lady. Oh, he's looking at a naked lady, right? Or then you show a dog. He's like, oh my God, it's a dog. You show a grave or a zombie or anything, right? That vastly affects what we think of the last clip. And this does it excellently, right? It shows so many clips throughout that just the clip on itself, you're like, okay, it's a briefcase, right? But then you show the briefcase and how it got there, and then you show the guy getting to the briefcase, and then it gives context to the briefcase. We see the briefcase, we don't know what's in it, but then we're able to put the pieces together. And we'll get to that later. I also think it does setups and payoffs really well too. And it's like a mystery, right? You're watching it and you go along and you're like, all right, you're putting the pieces together with the guy as you go along. It also does dramatic irony really well in the finale. So those are what I think this movie does excellently. Josh, on to you.
There's a concept I'd like to mention. I've heard other people talk about it, which would be dissonance. And the way I think this term fits this film is that you have a lot of dissonant elements, you could say, and this kind of goes with but like you have a shot of this girl alive towards the opening of the film, then it immediately cuts to her like on a slab in the morgue, and that's just a great example of dissonance and kind of punching the audience, you could say.
Yeah, like they're not holding back.
They aren't holding back, no. I think one of my favorite aspects of the film is the cinematography.
Dude, the shots are incredible. Oh my Lord.
The shots are incredible, and the way a lot of scenes are shot, it just makes our central character, Joe Frady, and a lot of the other characters just look tiny. They're always kind of pitted against these big, elaborate structures, or even like faces towards the end. You have the political faces, which are just huge. You can look at the opening scene of the film, where we show the...
I didn't even think about the political faces until now, but now I get it.
We show the Seattle Space Needle, and it's just this huge structure, and it's meant to kind of invoke the feeling of being small. And then once they're after the political assassin in the opening, he runs onto the roof, and we just shoot that entire part, that shot, far away, and he is just a small figure running on the Space Needle, and he's tidy in the frame. And this is a trick used just throughout the film, like when Joe Frady is in the testing scene, or especially during the dam sequence. We just see this huge dam in the background, and our main characters, they get in this fight scene, and they're just tiny in the frame. And I think it's a really great visual style. If you pay attention, you'll see it throughout the film. They really just use this kind of motif the whole way, just to show, like, he's trying to solve things, he's trying to make a difference, but he's against powers he cannot comprehend and cannot solve ultimately. And it looks great. So that's something I'll mention.
So we'll move on to talking about the plot. So it starts off at the Space Needle, and you go there's this political. There's this guy running for political office, and he's talking to everybody. He's having a great time, just really chilling. And he gets up to the Space Needle, and you see some waiters, and they're walking around, and something's off about him. And the guy gets up, the guy running for political office. I don't recall his name. But he gets up and he's talking to these people, and bang, shot through the head onto the glass, or was it the chest? I don't remember. But I just remember sitting there, and this is within, the first 5 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, they jump right into the action, which, another great thing. Really cool. But yeah, blood splattered on the wall, blood splattered on people's faces. It was sick. And maybe I'm making it up more to be in my head, because I did watch it, probably like a week ago. But I think if I'm exaggerating it, I think that goes to show how much of an effect it really had, because of how blunt it was. This whole film is really blunt. There's not a lot of wandering around. There's none of it, actually. Every scene serves a purpose. It's a really tight film. There's no lollygagging. Anyway, so then it cuts to a little bit later, and the main character, Joseph Frady, is talking with Lee Carter, and she's the lady who dies on the table, or she gets killed. But they're talking together, and Lee is freaking out, right? She's like, they're gonna kill me. People are dying. Everything's like going wrong. And Joseph Frady is like, nobody's dying. Nobody's being assassinated. You're not gonna get killed. Everything's chilling. And she's like, what about the people who are dying? What about all these reporters and all these people that were up in the Space Needle? We saw something up there, and they're killing us off. And Joseph Frady did not get into the Space Needle. They wouldn't let him in. So that's why he doesn't get killed. But everyone who was in there gets killed. Lee Carter gets killed. People are dying from drowning. One guy gets poisoned, which comes back later. Setups and payoffs, baby. I was a big fan of that. Yeah, people are dying. And Joseph Frady is like, you're not going to die. Next scene, she's dead. Oh my God. I was like, holy shit. Also, of the Space Needle, after the assassination happens, the assassin runs up to the top of the Space Needle, and then there's that far off shot, like Josh was talking about earlier. But he runs up there, and as the guards are trying to get him, the clip lasts 30 seconds tops. They don't milk it. They're very like, this is real life. The assassin is up on the roof. He's running around. He's trying to get away. Falls off the roof. Dead. It's over. Just like that. But yeah, Lee Carter died. She played by Paula Prentice. Not Paul Apprentice. Paula Prentice. It's like Chris Barat. Fuck you for not laughing. Do you have any thoughts? Do you have anything to say?
I don't. What?
Anyway.
I don't know. You threw me off with whatever that was.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. Anyway.
Was that a joke?
Lee Carter's dead. And the next scene, Joseph Frady is talking to Bill Rentals. Anyway, he runs a newspaper. And Joseph Frady is like, hey, man, something's kind of, he's changed his mind. Originally, when the assassination first happened, he was like, there's a conspiracy. And then there's this big board of people. And the shot on this is really cool. They're just like, they're at this big long table, this council, and they're like, it has been determined that the assassination of this man was done by this guy. There was no conspiracy involving the assassination. And then it goes on to the next clip. But it's really like, it's shot from a very low angle. So it's like there's in a position of authority in camera positioning wise, right? They're above the camera, looking down, very imposing. Like, this is what happened. You will not question. You know what I mean? And it's really sick.
I love the slow zoom in.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of like an really infinity room kind of concept. Like everything but them is blacked out. Everything but the council themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's excellent, especially as a bookend of the movie, because they do bring it back at the end.
Yeah, really excellent stuff. But so Joseph Frady is talking to Bill Rentals, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, there's a conspiracy. Like, let me go talk to these people." And he goes to investigate one of the people that died. He drowned in a river, correct?
Yes.
And where's the river that he drowned at? I don't quite recall.
Salmon Tail, the city of the
It's somewhere. It doesn't matter.
It's called Salmon, I believe, Washington.
Okay, so he gets there, and he's in this bar, and this cop approaches him in the bar, and is kind of giving him a hard time for whatever reason. I don't quite recall why. Do you know why? I'm assuming it's because the Parallax Corporation informed them that he was coming.
Were you paying attention?
I guess not. And why did they fight?
They fight because...
Was it because the chicks were hitting on the cop, and then he walked in, and then they left, and he was jealous?
They didn't leave. They were looking at Joe Frady. And we hear from the sheriff once the deputy gets beaten up by Joe Frady. And it does this, and he causes problems.
You gotta repeat what you're saying. You cut out.
Oh, the reason he does, or after the fight ends, the sheriff tells Joe Frady that, yeah, this deputy kind of just does this. He loves causing problems and messing with people, and the only reason he's on the force is because he is the sheriff's nephew.
And he is not involved with the Parallax Corporation. Only the sheriff is.
The sheriff is confirmed to be. It could be. You could read it that the deputy is also, but it is not confirmed. And I don't think it changes too much either way. I doubt he is, because he does seem to be a bit of a fool. Right.
But after the fight, I think that it could have gone without the fight. But I guess it establishes his character as he is willing to fight and get beat up over what he's doing. You know, like he can hold his own, kind of. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, so then the sheriff is there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for the sheriff. This guy died here a while back," and then they go over to the dam where the guy passed away, where he drowned. And this is one of the guys who witnessed the assassination at the beginning of the film. And they're talking about the dam and the fishing, and the dam, right? It opens up and all this water comes out and floods the area, and he's saying that's why the guy drowned. And then the guy starts asking questions. You want to take it from here, Josh?
Sounds like you don't remember.
No.
sounds to me like you don't remember.
It's been a week, okay?
Lifeline
Come
here.
on. I remember the important stuff.
So basically, this is where we discover that, or we have it confirmed, essentially, that the judge who was killed was murder. This was not an accident, which is something Joe Frady is asking the sheriff about. Because as the floodgates open, there's a bunch of sirens, and he wonders how on earth did he get swept up in this flood? And we learn exactly how, because suddenly the sheriff holds up his own gun to essentially just force Joe Frady to drown in the exact same way. But this is kind of where we see Joe Frady's fighting spirit come in, because he does not lie down. He does not easily give up here, and he whips the sheriff with his fishing pole. And as the floods come down, they both get knocked in, and only Frady comes out of that. And again, this is one of those shots I talked about where we just see the huge, imposing dam, the floodgates opening, the water rushing down. We don't zoom into the fight. We don't have close-ups. We don't even hear the characters. All we hear is the rushing water going by and enveloping them. Joe Frady's in over his head, and this is just visually and audio-visually
confirming it.
Audio-visually confirming that, basically showing us that. I love that shot. It lasts a pretty long while. And so then from there, Frady returns to the sheriff's house and starts looking around to see what else he can find. And this is where he finds the personality tests from the Parallax Corporation. He's then discovered by the deputy again. Hello? Hold on, James. I'm sorry. Can you cut this part out?
Yeah.
A present? What? Oh, this is big. Oh, thank you.
Why are you moaning? What's going on?
Thank you. Oh, I'm going to drink this tomorrow.
Thank
you. I was just delivered a Red Bull, James. Oh, I'm so excited to drink this. So excited. Anyways, all right, I'm back.
Okay.
What part should I go back to?
The deputy comes in and finds them searching the sheriff's house.
So, yes, he takes the personality test documents from the Parallax Corporation, and then he's discovered by the deputy and another ensues. I do quite like the chase scene. It's quite enjoyable. It's nice to keep seeing just the absolute determination of Joe Frady, which is what makes, I think, those kind of aspects do make the ending hit harder. This guy is relentless. He's not going to give up no matter what.
But the odds are insurmountable.
Arguably to his limits as to what he can do. Anyways, he takes these personality tests to a psychologist who analyzes them, and he determines they're kind of used to identify homicidal tendencies and psychopathic personalities, so that the Parallax Corporation can hire these antisocial, homicidal individuals to join their company. And they give the test to a psychopath so they can learn the correct answers. And using this, Brady is going to basically pretend to be one of these homicidal, insane maniacs to try and infiltrate the Parallax Corporation.
So the personality test is different than when they show the video, right? Or is that the same thing?
The personality test is, it's a paper test. It's to determine if you have these traits. And then the testing sequence, that is just a secondary test.
Okay, gotcha.
A further test to determine your physical reactions and mental reactions.
Yeah, like biometric data, kind of.
Yes.
Okay. And so he just copies the answers of the psychopath people, replicates them.
Yes, and then he submits them to the Parallax Corporation.
Gotcha. Cool.
Meanwhile, Brady meets with Austin Tucker, who is the voice of Kit 2000 from Knight Rider. And he is one of the people who were in the beginning of the scene and witnessed the assassination.
This is the boat scene, correct?
This is the boat sequence. So they get taken out on a boat, and Austin Tucker tells...
He looks like he's being pretty careful. Like he knows something's up. And so it took Joseph Frady a little bit to meet with him, correct?
Yes.
And then they go out on this boat for
and it is,
safety.
In this section, it is Austin Tucker who finds Joe Frady. Joe Frady's been asking around about him, but Tucker is afraid enough to just basically head out onto the ocean. He's that scared of what will happen to him. And so he hears that looking for him and after him, and then...
Repeat what you just said?
Frady.
You cut out.
He hears that Frady's after him, so he finds Frady, tells him everything he knows, which isn't actually that much. He knows there are multiple assassins, and I believe he has a picture of him, but it doesn't reveal his actual identity. And then a bomb goes off on the boat and kills Austin Tucker.
And there was one more guy in the boat, and it killed him too. And it was assumed that Joseph Frady passed away as well.
Yes.
And then the next scene is Bill Rentals looking at a newspaper, and it's like 3 dead in boating accident. Well, I guess Bill Rentals is asleep, and Joseph Frady is looking at it. 3 dead in boating accident. And then Bill Rentals wakes up and he's like, I thought you were supposed to be dead. And he's like, I'm not.
Bill Rentals is his editor-in-chief.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Frady is a reporter.
Whoops. Should have mentioned that.
Yes. And so Frady uses this quote, death, unquote, to basically create a new identity so he can fully infiltrate the Parallax Corporation. And so they submit his, quote, correct answers to the Parallax Corporation, and then he's contacted a couple days later by one of their officials, Jack Younger. And this is where he gets taken into the testing scene.
The testing scene was very interesting.
He's strapped to a chair and forced to, well, I guess not forced, but he's strapped to a chair, and they're going to measure his biometric data while he sees a series of images and words, which flash before him and are shown. What are your thoughts on this sequence?
I thought it was very cool. I think it's a cool... so it really accomplishes more than I originally thought. When I first saw it, I was like, man, that was really long for no reason. But as I've thought about it more, because it is really long. It is a pretty long sequence. I was watching it in my anthropology class, and I was sitting there for at least 5 minutes. I might be exaggerating. But basically, The words shown, I'm forgetting.
Let me read the exact one. Love, mother, father, home, enemy, happiness, and me.
And it shows, after it shows each word, in a montage fashion, it shows images that you relate with those words. And as it goes on, the words become less and less, and those images switch to different categories. So, right, enemy grows and grows, and me starts as like pleasant images, and by the end, the me category is just like some guy crying in his bed, like isolated, you know? And like happiness, like images of happiness become like death and mentally troubling images. And it goes to it shows where the assassins are ending up, what like their headspace looks like, and this is just to reinforce it, in my opinion, like reinforce those ideas and to also test them and see what they think of these ideas, because he puts his like when you go to take the test, you put your hands on these dots, and it's testing your biometrics and your heart level and whatnot, heart rate. But that whole 5 minutes, it's playing music, and the music, Josh mentioned it earlier, but not in a musical sense, but there's some dissonance going on. It begins, with pleasant music, and then as the music goes on, it becomes more and more dissonant. And it really puts you on edge. And the images are off-putting, for sure.
Like the way the sequence goes is it shows these words, images that relate to them.
Say it again, you cut out.
Oh, it shows these words, and it shows images that relate to them. And it's all like, this is what like a normal person's worldview would be. And so it says like me, and it shows like a happy couple, and it shows home, and it shows like a farm and a nice house, and then it shows enemy, and it shows like the Nazis. And then the more we go on, you throw in these images from the other categories that kind of reshape the meaning.
As the worldview becomes distorted.
Yeah. And as the music is kind of reaching its climax, we've completely changed things. They're showing like, when it shows like the word country, it'll show all the bad things happening. It shows riots, people getting shot, police state, KKK, like cross burnings, people getting lynched. And it's just like a pretty horrific sequence. And then at the end, it just kind of returns to normal as if nothing happened.
Yeah, it's really paranoia-inducing.
Yes, and that really adds to the dissonance. And then we cut to Joe Frady, and he's just so tiny in this shot, and almost the screen is black except him.
Say what you said again. Are you turning away from your phone?
Nope, I didn't move at all.
Are you lying?
Stop yelling at me.
I can continue.
Yeah. So at the end, it shows Joe Frady, and he's just in this completely blackened room, and he's so like tiny in the frame. And it's one of my favorite sequences. It's really powerful. And you're right, just paranoia-inducing, disturbing in a way. And I think one of the best parts of it is once we enter the sequence, you never cut to Joe Frady until it's over. And you're kind of forced to watch this psychological video with him. And in a way, it's as if you're being tested. and it's just a fascinating sequence. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, that was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really good. I'm a big fan.
Let me think.
If we talk about plot logistics, I would say this is kind of, because we don't know all of the inner workings of Parallax Corporation, but we know by the end they figured Frady out and they use him as a scapegoat. And I think you could read into it that this is kind of where his facade of being this homicidal killer just won't work, because they're testing his physical reactions and there's not much he can do. And so following up this scene, we even see his contact in the Parallax Corporation kind of prodding at him about his alias and his fake identity. And he does offer a cover story, but I think at this point it is like it's over.
I'm not sure if I think that they knew at that moment that he was. I think they had an idea, but I don't think they really knew for sure until. And so he has to go meet with. They give him the job after they check his background. Which, yeah, I guess you're right. After they check his background, they probably know, because obviously he's lying.
Yeah.
Unless that really happened.
I believe the scene where he kind of defends his cover story is I think that kind of reveals the Parallax Corporation is onto him.
Yeah.
Because the very next scene is Rintles getting killed.
No. I thought he gets killed. Oh no, yeah, you're right.
So I think it is.
Yeah, so I guess right there they were like, is he going to tell the truth or is he going to lie? And then he lies and they're like, okay. Yeah. And they kill Pintle, or they kill the editor in chief. The assassin who assassinated the political candidate at the beginning of the film comes in and you're like, oh, they know.
Yep.
Dramatic irony, because obviously the editor-in-chief does not know, but we as the viewer know, which is really great.
Yes.
And he gives him a sandwich and a cup of coffee. And he drinks the cup of coffee, and then the next shot, we're like looking at his desk. And if I recall correctly, on the desk there was a picture. I know Teddy Roosevelt was at least there. And I believe some other presidents that were either assassinated or had assassination attempts on them. On the desk in the editor-in-chief's office. And they open his desk drawer, and the tape. So Joseph Frady tape recorded his interview with that one guy, Jack. What's his name?
Jack Younger.
With Jack Younger, and gave it to the editor-in-chief. And then after he listens to it, the editor-in-chief listens to it. That's when we see the assassin from the beginning, and we're like, oh, he's cooked. But the tape is obviously gone, and they're like, oh, he had this money in here. Oh, he should have locked his. He didn't even lock his drawer, man. That sucks. Tape is gone, so we know they're onto him for sure. But they're talking about how he died, and they say cardiac arrest, and that's how one of the people earlier in the film were also assassinated. And Lee's character, the girl, was like, he died of a cardiac arrest. He was 30 years old. He was healthy, and he's like, people die of cardiac arrests, and so this confirms that it was the Parallax Corporation that did it with the cardiac arrest, which I think is cool. Call him back.
Yep. So, go ahead.
I'm trying to think of what clip happens next. Is it the
There
airline?
was a part right before this. Yeah, the airline sequence was right before this.
But does that? Okay.
So essentially, Joe Frady follows the assassin, and he finds out he put a bomb on an airplane. He joins the flight and is able to warn the stewardess without directing attention to himself about the bomb, so that they land and they survive. And on it is a U.S. senator. So this was going to be another political assassination, and Joe Frady was able to stop it just in time.
Yeah, and actually, as he's walking back from the plane, it says "Beware jet blasts."
That's funny.
And then the plane explodes.
Yeah.
Obviously, with no one on it at the time, because they're able to evacuate it.
Yeah, I really like that sequence, and it is like, I like how kind of crafty Joe has to be, because obviously he can't just say, "Oh, I know there's a bomb on the plane," because then his cover story's over. But he also has to do it somehow, and he comes up with a decently clever way to do it, which is to kind of put it on a napkin.
And then he hides it in the stack of napkins, and as they're passing it out,
the stewardess has to see it.
Yeah.
And there's a funny moment, he like writes it in soap in the bathroom mirror, and then he opens the door and there's a guy just standing there, so he closes it up again and has to wash it off, because otherwise it's over.
Because otherwise they know, yeah.
Yeah, so that part is really funny. Yeah, he gets off the plane, then Rentals dies, that is later. And then he is sent to the Parallax office in Atlanta, and he sees the assassin again and follows him, where there is a political rally for...
No, we forgot... There's a scene that I also think is funny that I don't think was necessary in the film. It was either before or after the editor-in-chief's death, I don't remember, but he goes for his first job, and he's supposed to meet another assassin, and he sees him in the lobby, and then is able to get his room number, and then he calls him, and he's like, "Hey, there's been a change of plans. Go to Hawaii."
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, and he gives him this like random set of instructions, and I'm thinking to myself while I'm watching this scene, Joseph, what the hell, man? You can just like call his boss and confirm. So I think this scene, when he does this, I don't think he's really thinking about anything. Like, this is a lapse of judgment, which I think at first I was like, all right, this is stupid. However,
the alternative is to let him assassinate someone.
Okay, you're right.
I think this is a pretty decent plan, and I think he does say, like, his instructions are to call the main office once he's in Hawaii.
Oh, call the main office once he's in Hawaii. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, and then he'll get his further instruction.
Well, then that makes more sense.
So maybe it's a bit of a gamble, but I think it is a decent plan to try and still keep his identity while thwarting whatever assassination attempt this might be.
If I am correct, though, and it is actually he just wasn't thinking, I think it helps the ending a little bit. Like he doesn't realize, like he thinks he's outsmarting them, but he's really not. You know? Because the ending, we'll get to it in a second, but that's my interpretation. But you're probably right. I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I've seen it. I think 3 or 4 times.
Gotcha. But anyway, back to the political rally in Seattle. It's like it's a rehearsal. So it's happening earlier in the day, and the actual rally is happening later.
Yes, and so basically the senator there is kind of overseeing things, making sure everything's set up. He's kind of riding on this. Would it be a floor cleaner?
No, it's like a golf cart.
Kind of.
Golf cart. Utility
and
cart.
So we see a bunch of like school children in there practicing.
Well, they're like college kids. It's like a university.
Yeah. Young adults. So they're holding up these like big squares, and they're kind of turning.
I can't believe I didn't think of it.
And moving them around, and when they hold it up, it makes these political faces. And so you've got George Washington, and you've got Abraham Lincoln, and then you show Senator Hammond, who's the guy, and he's running for president. And it's obviously like, oh, look at these great American leaders. This senator, he's going to be next. He's going to be next. And the walls, they're showing this, which again, it's kind of that motif of these larger than life figures.
Yeah. Also, many of the presidents that they show during this spot on these big boards were assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or attempted to be assassinated. I know for sure they show Lincoln, and then they also show Teddy Roosevelt, and I think they show JFK, maybe, but I might be wrong. Also,
I think they might. I don't remember.
Yeah, but I think that's cool that they're showing that. It mirrors the table scene, where you see the other political leaders that have been assassinated. But they play Dixie, and I don't know why they're doing that. And they like
Atlanta. This is in Georgia.
Oh, duh. Never mind. I thought you said Seattle.
No.
All right.
But,
while we go marching to Georgia. You ever heard that song?
So they start with that. They start with Dixie, and then he has a speech recorded, and they start playing that.
What I think is
around on his golf cart.
And leading up to this, Joseph is following that guy, right? And Joseph doesn't see these people look out through a window, but it's the other people from the Parallax Corporation that we've seen before. And we see them they see Joseph. They know what's going on. And we see them put a security badge on. We see them put a security badge on. And then that'll come back later. Like, they're locked. They know what the plan is.
Yes.
And they've led Joseph here on purpose, and Joseph has no clue. And really, as the audience, we don't know yet. But looking back, once we get to the ending and we look back now, we're like, oh, dude, they had it the whole time. There was no way. He stood no chance.
We get some dramatic irony because most of the film we're kind of with Frady.
Yeah, but now we're
towards the end, we know Rentals is killed.
We know they have the clip.
The evidence. We know they're kind of onto him, and then we see this happen, and it's clearly there's something wrong, and I think that increases kind of the paranoia and the tension during this final sequence.
Yeah, but he's following the assassin into the building, and he follows him up into the rafters, and he follows him deeper and deeper into the rafters, right? Where they hook up all the lights in auditoriums. And he's walking on these catwalks, and the shots are really sick. There's a lot of silhouettes. It looks outstanding.
Great looking film.
Yeah. I also really enjoy, there's a red herring that they put in there. So there's this band, right? And they're playing Dixie, and they're playing Yankee Doodle and a bunch of other like patriotic songs that you'd hear at a rally. And there's this trombone? No. Tuba. There's this tuba player, and he when he sits down, he like knocks his hat off. He's bumbling. He looks really stressed. He is not locked in, and he's playing the tuba, but he's playing it like wrong. Or I mean, yeah, he's playing the tuba, but he's playing it wrong. And like one of the drummers, like, you know, he takes a drumstick and like hits his sheet music, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? And I originally thought that he was going to have something to do with the assassination in some way. Like I thought he would be like signaling for the shot by messing up the tuba, or maybe he would be the one to do the assassination himself. So I was like paying attention to them as opposed to anything else. So I think that was a cool red herring there that they put in, whether on purpose or on accident. Am I an idiot, or is that a good observation?
No, I think that's a good observation.
Okay, cool. I'm always worried. I'm like, oh, I just probably misinterpreted stuff. Damn it. But yeah, and so the assassin's up in the rafters, and Joseph Frady is up there, and the assassin disappears. And like a few seconds after the assassin disappears, we see Joseph Frady like looking for everybody, and he's like looking out the window, and he sees over on the other side there are the other Parallax guys, including Jack What's-His-Face, and they all begin to move at the same time. So the cart begins moving down the aisle because they're in this big auditorium. There's a bunch of tables set up everywhere, and it's moving down the middle of these tables, and it's a really symmetrical shot, and it looks really great. The band's playing, everybody is moving, and Joseph realizes, he's like, oh, it's happening, and so he's booking it towards the door, and they've locked him in there. He can't do anything, and then he goes back to look out, and the political leader, who's running for president right now in the film? What's his name?
Senator George Hammond.
Senator George Hammond is in his little cart, and he's driving down the middle in this very symmetrical shot, and then bang, through the chest, or through the back, you know, like out through the chest, and he just like falls down on the cart. Everybody starts running, and the cart keeps moving, and it's like hitting into tables, and that's all you can hear, is you can hear like the cart driving, and then hitting a table, and then hitting another table, and then finally stopping. And that was just the whole shot, and it's very impactful. Like you can feel the weight of what just happened. And then cops arrive, and
indeed. And I'd like to mention all the tables are like red, white, and blue. It's a really cool
you
shot.
cut out. You have to start again at red, white, and blue.
All the tables are red, white, and blue, because we've kind of got these themes of distrusting the government, and obviously this came out in the 70s. It was kind of a time for that. So it's a really nice shot, and it is shot from the rafters, so we're kind of looking down, and so as we watch this cart just hit into tables, the senator is just tidy. He's just a tidy man in the frame, and it is once again just look how small he is compared to the other forces at work in the world. And this is another great example of what I would call the dissonance, because his speech is still playing, even though he's dead, and so we're kind of listening to him just his speech while the cart is just running into these tables. And it's just really great seeing him die and just hearing him keep talking, hearing his campaign promises going like none of that is coming to fruition at all. He's not going to make a difference like he wants.
Yeah. God, dude, the symbolism in the camera work is incredible.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like the power that framing holds on an audience is immense, and it's been lost, and people need to realize the power of a camera in modern cinema today. But yeah, so the guy's been assassinated, and somebody down at the bottom, Joseph's just looking because he can't believe it. And this is where it really sets in that it's a setup. Some guy down at the bottom looks up and yells, and he's like, there he is. There's the shooter. And a scene before this, or like not a scene, like a shot before this, he looks down and he sees a gun, a rifle that was just sitting there. It was a planted rifle. And then they point and they're like, he's up there. And then he realizes, oh my God, I've been set up. And so then he hides underneath like the raft, like he's like clinging and like hiding underneath the walkways, underneath the catwalks. And immediately the door opens and it's the security people. The Parallax.
Not quite. He travels across the room, kind of. He travels the catwalk, and he sees an open door.
You got to say that again.
And he travels across the catwalk, and he sees an open door, and he just starts bolting.
No, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. I watched the end scene 10 minutes ago, an hour ago. This is what happened. Trust. I promise you we will watch it later, and I am correct.
You're telling me he doesn't run towards the door?
So, okay. So the security people, the security guards come in. The Parallax workers, the Parallax assassins that we saw earlier who put the security badges on. This is another nail in the coffin. Like, they were planning this. They were ready, waiting by that door for the shot to go off and for somebody to identify him. And they go in there and they're looking for him, but he's hiding under the walkways. They literally walk right above him as he's below this catwalk, like clutching for dear life. And then eventually they can't find him, and so they walk towards the door, but they do not close it. They leave it open. And this whole movie, he's thought he's had hope. And he sees that door and he's like, there's hope right there. That's my way out. And so he gets up and he goes and he sees the door and he's starting to go towards it, and somebody points and he's like, there he is. It's the tuba player. He points and he's like, I see him. And at this point he's running. And I don't know, like if I was in his shoes, I guess not in his shoes. As a third person, I'm sitting there and I'm watching and I'm seeing this bright white light. Like this is like, it's his saving grace is what he thinks. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's no way that people aren't waiting outside that door to shoot that guy, to shoot Joseph. But Joseph runs nonetheless, and he's running right out the door. And as he's almost to the door, some guy steps out, and there's just white and then the black silhouette. You can see the silhouette of the gun. Bam! And Joseph is dead. It's over. He had no shot like that. He thinks he can do it the whole time. Like he sees that white light, but the whole time the odds are against him. There's no way he can make it.
It is literally, because when you watch the shot, it's like everything up there is black, and then the door is just completely white, and it does seem like some light at the end of the tunnel. Like he's going to escape, but he's going to make it. And you move into shaky cam, and it's used very well in this, because we know he's desperate. We know he thinks this is it, and just right as he's about to reach the door, the guy pops out.
And then...
And just shoots him. And it is a great, like, silhouette shot. The guy's just fully black. You can't make out any details. Just this mysterious figure, and just ends in.
And then
And that's it for Joe Frady.
say that one more time.
That is it for Joe Frady.
And then the next shot is the council, the same council we saw at the beginning of the movie, and they said, who's the senator's name?
George Hammond.
Yeah, George Hammond was assassinated by Joseph Frady. And they say that Joseph Frady thought George was going to assassinate him, right? Had some vendetta against him. And that's why he did it. Something like that. Anyway, the council's
just saying he was paranoid.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't think they said he specifically was going to kill him, but I don't remember either.
Yeah. So they're like, George Senator Man was killed by Joseph Frady, and there was no conspiracy to kill him. There was no conspiracy to kill George, Mr. Senator.
Here's what they said. They said Frady was obsessed with the first assassination and had somehow come to believe that Hammond was responsible and that Hammond was going to kill Joe Frady, so he killed him first. That is what they say.
And then they say that there was no conspiracy and that Joseph Frady acted alone. And then the title comes up, Parallax View, and the credits roll.
Yep, and that shot, because after the first assassination, we zoomed out and we slowly zoom into the council, and we reversed that. So we're zoomed into the council and slowly zoom out. The spokesman just gives this speech about how there is no wider conspiracy, there's nothing going on, and it is just this depressing moment of like, nothing ever happens, man. Nothing Frady did or could do could stop the corruption, because this went farther than he could have imagined, and he was fighting forces that just could not be stopped. And it ends.
What a great movie. And Parallax, the definition, comes back, different perspectives from different locations, and you see a political. These are the two perspectives from one perspective. It's like, oh, he acted alone. There was nothing going on. But the other perspective, if you change your location, there was a conspiracy, and it happens again and again and again.
Yep.
If you guys have not seen Parallax View, watch the Parallax View.
Indeed. One of my favorite movies ever.
Any closing thoughts?
I think we covered most of it. Cinematography is great. Sound design is great. It all kind of contributes to this just paranoia and feelings of insignificance, I would say.
Do you have anything that you think could have been added?
No.
No?
Go ahead. What do you think?
I think I'm torn because it's really not necessary for the plot whatsoever. But I don't feel connected with Joseph Frady as much as I could have been if there had been more establishing scenes to build his humanity, if that makes sense. However, through his actions, it does build humanity, but I think that there could have been more connection, but it would have fattened up the movie. I think that maybe the bar scene where he fights him could have been altered slightly to add some more humanity to him, rather than him just being like this knight against an opposing force. He could have been a knight that we understand a little bit more about. But other than that, I have no things that I think could have been added. The movie is still very close to perfect, if not perfect.
Yeah, and it is.
My opinion is totally subjective. Say again?
It's an hour and 40 minutes long.
Yeah. It's pretty long, pretty packed. But it doesn't feel an hour and 40 minutes long. It feels quick.
I would say that's comparatively pretty short to a lot of other movies.
Oh, I mean, I guess today. Add a 10-minute scene on there, we're chilling.
Even back then, I would say, like, it's not a movie that's exactly wasting time or padding a runtime. An hour and 40 minutes is decently brisk.
Yeah, everything in there serves a purpose.
Just really well.
I don't think it would have suffered from another scene. But yeah, those are my closing thoughts. Thank you, guys.
Really excellent.
Goated.
My favorite of the three my favorite of the three films in the Paranoia trilogy. It is very close to my favorite neo-noir. It's high up there. Just an all-around excellent movie.
Yeah. We may do more noirs this month, depending on when I get this out, but I make no promises. I'm not a promises man.
No promises.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed.
I highly recommend that.
Definitely watch it. If you have any films you would like to see us review, leave them in the comment section. Check out our Patreon. And yeah, hopefully you got some work done. Hopefully, maybe you were making your bed. Maybe you were cooking. Maybe you were driving somewhere. Welding, perhaps. Whatever you guys may be doing. Playing some video games. We hope you accomplished some task today while listening to us. And yeah, we will catch you on the flip.
Bye.